Good morning, everybody. I'm going to ask that everybody take their seats so we can get started. All right, I see a couple people still chatting back there. Get to your seats, please. Okay. As those of you that are still traveling to your seats, get to your seats. We're going to start our morning by watching a quick video highlighting our upcoming Community Outreach Day. Are any of you familiar with Love Modesto, Love Stanislaus? Woo. All right, we're going to watch a video, so if everybody could take their seats, that would be amazing. Thank you, and good morning.
This is my 5th year participating in Love Modesto.
This is probably my 5th year participating in the Love Modesto Day, something that we look forward to every year.
I love Love Modesto because it's just great. You get to make new friends along the way.
I'm loving it because I get to spend time with my Rotary group.
The community here is honestly inclusive. Everyone just loves to be here.
I love seeing everyone sticking together as a community. It's pretty awesome.
You and I were born to roll.
That's inspiring unity, it's inspiring peace and love and joy, and really something positive for us to think about.
Yeah, Love Modesto. Woo woo. All right. Well, good morning, everybody. My name is Nancy Martinez. Some of you might recognize me. I'll share a little bit more about myself in here in a little bit. But welcome to April's Catalyst. And hopefully you're also signed up for a Love Modesto project later this month. As you know, this is a monthly gathering of Stanislaus County sector leaders, community members, and influencers. So this is a great morning to be here gathered with everybody today. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Nancy. I am a CEO of a community engagement firm called Debrief, and I'm also just very engaged in community. I've got a Girl Scout troop in South Modesto, have been raised here in Modesto my whole life, and I love being from here and being from here. So I'm very happy to be here with all of you today. For those of you that this might be your first time at Catalyst, I just want to give you a quick recap of what is Catalyst and what's the purpose of us gathering. So for those of you, again, first time here, Catalyst is a place for community conversations and connections that matter and inspire. It's a safe place to explore issues that face our community. We're a diverse group of people from different perspectives who choose to work together to benefit our community. And our hope is that you will connect with others who share your vision, passion, and maybe even those that don't, and that you will begin to build trust and work together to impact our community for everyone's benefits. A quick shout out to Catalyst and City Ministry Network with their social media, so please go ahead and go to City Ministry Network's Facebook page and follow and like them. Let the people that are in your social networks know about Catalyst. I am going to quickly ask all of you to sign in on the sign-in sheet on your table. Let's make sure that we remember and recognize that you are here today. And then as you're doing that, I want to quickly shout out the sponsors for Catalyst, and specifically want to highlight one big sponsor for today, and that's Stanislaus County Housing Corporation. Stanislaus County Affordable Housing Corporation, otherwise known as StanCo Housing. They're a nonprofit corporation committed to promoting the construction and development of affordable housing opportunities for the residents of Stanislaus County. So if we could all give a shout out to StanCo. Great. Cool. And then as you continue to sign in on that sign-in sheet, I'm also going to invite that you grab some breakfast in the back. I believe we've got some donuts. After grabbing some breakfast, I know I'm moving quite quickly here, but after you grab some breakfast, we want you to come back to your tables and discuss 2 discussion questions that you should probably be seeing on the screen now. Remember to give everybody a chance to speak at your table. Everybody's got an opinion. I see some little ones in there. I would love to also hear what they've got to say. And then just so that you have the questions in mind, I'm just going to read them out for you. What does a thriving community look like to you? How do you measure success in community building? And can you share a moment when you felt truly impactful in your community work? What made it meaningful? And with that, I'm going to go ahead and let you all break now and get some donuts, and then John will welcome you back to the rest of the conversation. Thank you, everybody.
All right, hey, welcome. Go ahead and grab your seats. We'll start wrapping up our conversations. Can I invite my panelists up to come and have a seat? So if I can get my panelists, dang, we already got people cheering. You must have read the notes or something. Yeah, give it up for our panelists. That's great. I love it. I love it. Jennifer, I have you right here. All right, as our panelists come up and have a seat, we got a short video for you from Marvin. So let's see what that looks like.
Hi, I'm Marvin from City Ministry Network, and I want to invite you to April 3rd's Catalyst coming up in a couple of weeks. And in April's Catalyst, we're going to honor 3 community bridge builders. Now, we sent out a survey to about 2,000 of you, and we asked you the question, who do you consider a builder of community around you? And so the top 3 vote getters were George Ratana, Jennifer Marsh, and Jose Sabala. Now, the idea for April's Catalyst came when my wife handed me this book by David Brooks called How to Really Know Somebody. And in this book, David Brooks shares with us that in every community, there are called illuminators. Now, illuminators, they're community bridge builders. Here's what they do. They break down barriers to strengthen relationships and promote understanding. They influence others because people trust them as credible. So we're going to honor George and Jennifer and Jose because so many of you said, these are amazing people. Look to see you on April 3rd.
All right. Give it up. So we got a little something for our winners. There's a little plaque here. I'll show you guys, just to show you how fancy we are. Ooh. All right. George, this is yours, dog. The 4th one, which is mine, I guess, must be being made. I'm not sure. But anyways, they also got a gift card. There's only 3 of those 2 mics, so we might need a 4th one for myself. I'm not sure if I don't know. You must have forgotten. It's okay. So anyways, we have 3 amazing people up here. I get to be the interviewer to these amazing folks. And so we're going to kind of kick things off here, but I got to put my glasses on so I can see what I'm asking. So let's start with introductions. Can you share your name and a little bit about the role you play in the community?
Hello, good morning. My name is George Ratana. I'm a Marine Corps combat veteran and the president of Veterans in Action Incorporated. I connect veterans in the community.
Hi, good morning. Jennifer Marsh, and I am the Prevention Services Coordinator for Stanislaus County Behavioral Health and Recovery Services.
Hi, Jose Sabala. I'm a son, I'm a husband first, and then I'm a father to my kids, and then besides that, I'm a vice president of community development for Oak Valley Community Bank.
Awesome. Yeah, give it up. Thank you guys for sharing. So we're going to jump right in. Others see you as community builders, whether you guys believe that title or not. You were voted. Actually, some notes here I actually have. There was 2,000 invites to vote. Over 200 people responded, and there was 32 nominations. So out of those 32, these are our top 3. So that's pretty dope. Yeah, give it up. That's awesome. So let me go into the first question. So others see you as community builders, whether you claim that to be or not. What sparked your passion for your community and led you to do the work you do now?
Hi. So yeah, again, being a Marine Corps combat veteran, one of the things I struggled with after serving many years on active duty and multiple deployments was coming back to my community and being able to reintegrate. So here in Stanislaus County and throughout the Central Valley, we have a very high veteran population. So when I saw that need of what I went through, I was like, why not connect the community to our veterans, because we are reintegrating back into society. So seeing that need there sparked within me to just be a bridge, to be able to connect the civilian population, the civilian leadership to the veterans, and being able to get that connection going. Because there's a lot of distinct features we have as veterans. We're our own culture, where we have our own characteristics, our own customs and different things. So there was a disconnect. So being able to be that bridge between that is what sparked me to say, you know what, there's a need. Let's connect veterans to the bigger, broader community.
I like that. I like that. A little applause action. Go ahead, Jennifer. Go for it.
Awesome. So the work for me is personal. I grew up in a family where they struggled with behavioral health issues and challenges and were untreated and not really knowing where to seek services and resources and support. So being that connection in the community to be able to get people to where they can receive the services that they need. So much of our community suffers in silence, and it's not because they want to, it's because there's stigma and misunderstandings around behavioral health, whether it's mental health or alcohol and drug services and addiction. And we need to be there for our community, and educating one another and treating it like the disease that it is the first step in starting to reduce some of that stigma. But I love the work that I do. Our mantra in the office is prevention rocks, because it absolutely does. And I had the honor of working alongside of our beautiful community to try to make a difference.
Awesome. Give it up. Thank you, Jennifer. Jose.
What was the question?
You make me read again? So others see you as a community builder, whether you claim that title or not. What sparked your passion for your community and led you to do the work that you do?
Man, there's so many people in this room that sparked that passion. One of the passions is there's a table over here on the left where I first came. And this person doesn't like recognition either, so I'm not going to say his name, but he invited me to this place. And when I got here, I was fresh out of college, late in my early, well, not my early years. I was still older. I was in my 30s. But I was going back to school for a bachelor's, and that was a first in my family. Growing up in airport neighborhood where my family, I was raised, I didn't know not having a big lake and having to pump that out was not normal. I had a big lake in front of my house, and pretty much every day I had to pump that water out because my dad made me. But I had to pump it out and kind of walk over the puddles and all that other stuff, and not understanding why that was there until later in my years, until I sat here. Something sparked in me to be able to see the disparities in our community, the barriers that people faced, and not even knowing. But there's a power of exposure. And so a place like this really ignites a fire in people and aligns them with their passion. And that's really what aligned me later down on my road. And now it's kind of really transitioned me into the role that I am now. I cover 7 counties across the Central Valley. Being able to see these different communities and different work opportunities for community development in these areas, I get to preach to it because I lived it. And some of the factors is one, it started a nonprofit in South Modesto because of the areas that I saw that needed to be coming alongside different areas in that neighborhood, and mobilizing people of faith to get involved in these disparities in the community. So that's what sparked me, and what drives me is my family table over there. So,
awesome. Give it up. What a cool thing. A cool stream of the experiences and drove you into your passions, and now here you guys doing the work. I love that. So bringing people together is at the heart of a community builder. What does that look like in your work? How do you foster connections?
That's a good question.
Thank you.
Can you repeat the question? I'm just kidding.
You guys both know I can't read well. That's why you guys keep messing with me. I see how you are.
Three Stooges up
Can you do it with your glasses on? Yeah, no, definitely. Again, just going back, so there is a big disconnect between veteran culture and civilian culture. So for me, what that looked like was just connecting. So, I've had the privilege of working with local congressmen and local mayors and some of the cities here and some of the supervisors, and just being able to connect. like, hey, this is what's the need. This is what veterans are going through. And even most recently, I did a survey where I interviewed over 100 veterans locally, active, non-active, combat, non-combat, male, female, Vietnam era until now. And I asked the veterans, what do you need the most? Community came back at top 3 as the most. So being able to voice that and then connect, and then just lived experience and sharing with our leaders, like, hey, veterans have a lot to offer, so how can you connect with them, because there is a disconnect, so being able to just build that bridge and then introduce them, like, hey, they want to get involved in their communities, or they have families, or just the intersectionality that they have, playing the role of a mother, a father, students, career, all that stuff, and being able to get the broader society to see what it is veterans face. And I think with building that connection and that collaboration, it's allowed certain doors to open up where relationships are being built, because meaningful engagement, meaningful relationships, meaningful community mindedness with this. So that's how, for me, that's what it looks like.
Love it. So bringing people together. Oh, yeah, go ahead. Give it up. So bringing people together is at the heart of community building. What does that look like in your work, Jennifer, and how do you foster connection?
So for us, relationships is at the heart of everything that we do. Having those strong relationships with the community, whether it's our schools, the nonprofits, law enforcement, whomever it is, it's creating that trust first, and being that person they can come to and ask for support. It's something that in the work that we do, being those connectors, it's even something we talk about in the office, that we feel like we're that conduit to the community, to other resources, whether it's behavioral health related, or it's medical, or it's whatever the need is. We find a way to create a resource and help to navigate that person to that resource. So connections is a huge part of what we do. And it's not work that I do alone. I have some amazing, amazing staff and people that are dedicated and doing this work alongside of us. And I even have, leadership from BHRS here at, 6:45 in the morning showing up to be of support. So I think that's a huge statement to the work that we do and just the relational aspect of things. Then I have to shout out to our Stanhope moms there too, that are absolutely amazing. The connections that have been made with these beautiful ladies that have unfortunately lost a loved one to a fentanyl overdose and poisoning. The fact they come alongside of us to share those stories and put faces and names to the statistics is the reason we're seeing a reduction in overdose and poisoning deaths, because of those beautiful people. So yeah, connection is in the heart of everything we do.
That's awesome. Give it up. She brought a crew with her. I ain't gonna mess with Jennifer. She'll get us jumped. I could jump out. It's like 3 tables here. I gotta be nice. All right, Jose. Bringing people together is the heart of community building. What does that look like in your work, and how do you foster those connections?
Well, I bring some values that I've been instilled in from all the way from when I was little to my faith background, and also into my work. The values are family, and family is so important to me. And so what does family look like? Family looks like different personalities, different issues, different relational styles, and so forth. And so bringing those family values into the work that I do is, how do we bridge the connection? The same thing that Jennifer and my brother said. There is power in trust. That's number one. And number two, once you build that trust with somebody, or that organization, or that community, then that trust goes further into deeper relationships. And then you get to see the family values that they carry and that they care about. And so how do we come alongside those different efforts, even in the community development arena? I can say that, is it easy to do? It absolutely is not easy to do. When you have different policies, or you have different things that are in place that kind of really cause barriers to get to that level of community development. But for me, when I see this opportunity from a faith sector, from a private sector, from a public sector, from a government sector, all these coming together, what really matters to me the most is that family. And so how do we come alongside the needs in these communities that need community development the most, in a real way that provides family values and come alongside those values as well. And so I've been able to do that in my work. Why? Because Oak Valley Community Bank is the only Stanislaus County corporate headquartered bank. I would just honor them and shout them out. We have 17 branches across our footprint, with 18 almost being in Lodi. We cover 7 counties, and we're also in rural Inyo County, where there's really no financial institution on the other side of those hills. And so the relational style of Oak Valley Community Bank is the word community in our name. And so it allows me to kind of multiply these efforts, even through the organizations that I've come up into. I work for CDFIs. I've worked for that guy over there with the glasses, Joe Duran. He's a terrible boss. Don't ever work for him. I'm just kidding. He's a great guy. I always like to roast Joe because he always roasts me. But it has taught me a lot to really even see those needs in a financial institution way, right? And so continuing to build community that way, I have this motto. It's #building community together. So if you do that # building community together, you're probably going to see a lot of what I do around these footprints on Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever other things. But # building community together. And then the other piece of that is I look at it through a faith lens as well. The Book of Acts model really kind of just shows me how people came together, how they were unified, how they were working with one another, and they were serving one another in a real way. And my hopes and desire is that I can do that. Now, is it easy? I would say absolutely not, because of the fact that there's times where you're a bridge builder, but you know what? Whoever remembers a bridge? A bridge takes you across from one place to another place. If you go to South Modesto, you're going to cross the 7th Street Bridge. That's going to take you from one area of our community to a different area. And so sometimes the bridge is really not looked at. And you remember certain bridges like the Golden Gate, right? That's special. But most of the times you're not going to remember what a bridge actually does. It's not a memorial. It's not something special. All it's doing is take you from one place to the next, and that's my heart. So,
thanks, Jose. All right, George, can you think of a moment that reminded you why this work matters? A time when you truly saw the impact of your efforts?
Yes, there's a lot, but I'll keep it under. Recently, just working with our local veterans, last summer we launched our dental clinic, medical clinic, because for those of you that don't know, it's very hard to navigate the veteran affairs system. So here in-house in Stanislaus County, we had our own medical clinics for our veterans, and being able to have seen us service with other nonprofits, veterans, getting them just basic eyeglasses for free, over 200 prescriptions, and some Vietnam veterans who hadn't had a dental screening in years, decades, seeing them get free cleanings and free screenings, and just doing our first ever suicide prevention training for vets, by vets. It was ran entirely by 3 of us veterans, 4 vets throughout the county. Being able to see that and see the amount of veterans that showed up, because a lot of people say vets don't show up, but there was over 220 plus veterans that came to these events, and for me that was impactful. And just hearing the stories of veterans we've worked along the way who have maybe dealt with post-traumatic stress disorder or traumatic brain injury or other things, and seeing them now in the education system, they're going for their degrees or they're doing a lot better. For me, that was the biggest impact, is being able to see our veterans learning to reintegrate back into society and doing it in such a way where they're excelling. So little events like this, just bringing them in and seeing them from one point to another, and just seeing how they're growing and how they're building community amongst each other, how they're getting involved in their own communities now, and it's being reciprocated, the model of being able to go out, reach a brother, tag your battle buddy, and go out and do the same thing. So that's what spoke to me. This year will be our 2nd year doing it over the summer, and we're going to see greater things. So being able to, again, just see these veterans come, get basic services, and in turn now they're reciprocating the model where they're doing great things. So that was impactful for me.
That's awesome. Thank you, George. Yeah, give it up. So Jennifer, can you think of a moment that reminded you why this work matters? A time when you truly saw the impact of your efforts?
So just looking at the audience and looking at those beautiful Stanhope moms that are here, that's the impact of the work. The fact that we have family members coming together to educate, to literally turn their pain into purpose to try to prevent other families from going through a similar tragedy. And having them have that vulnerability and bravery, they have so much strength, and I just have so much love and respect for them. They're amazing, and they're the reason we're making a difference in the community. Just in 2023, we were averaging 4 to 5 Stanislaus County residents dying every single week. So 4 to 5 people dying every single week to a drug-related overdose or poisoning. And 2024, we just got our final numbers from the coroner's office, and we reduced that. We're at 3 to 4 a week now, which is wonderful. We're reducing those numbers. I believe the education that we're doing and the awareness, getting naloxone, that life-saving medication, out into the community is making a difference. But it's really these families that are sharing their loved ones and their stories that gives other people hope and that connection. There's so much stigma around substance use disorder, and the community that's been created within Stan Hope, I think is just a beautiful thing and is making the impact in Stanislaus County.
That's great. Wow. Thank you. Jose, can you think of a moment that reminded you why this work matters, a time when you truly saw the impact of your efforts?
Yeah, there's several. So I think one of the things that reminds me is that there was a moment in time during the pandemic where things were being shifted and craziness was happening. We were all going through different emotions, different feelings, and different things, and uncertainty. But one thing I do recall is I recall the moment and the opportunity that the community was able to share their voice in a real way. And what happened was the South Modesto community showed up into a county board of supervisors room with like 30 plus, and about 10 of these community leaders were voicing their opinion or reason on why they needed certain things in South Modesto and how they were going to come along different efforts in our community development efforts and how they supported it. That to me was life-changing. Why? Because that's the reason why we do this work. To be able to see and come alongside different efforts in these communities and being able to see them coming out of the shadows into the forefront, being able to voice their concerns and also their support. Many of these folks that live in these underserved communities, really all they're seeking is relationships. And when you build those trusts and you build those relationships, you're able to see the leader that they're leading you into. And so I want to honor each one of those voices that are either, some of them are in this room, and I also want to honor that community especially because it's a strong movement of coming together and seeing the results. The results are the fact that is now there's sidewalks in that community. The results are now that the schools and the different sectors are working together. The results are there was never a coding program in the Modesto City Schools, and now there is implemented in Southside Modesto. Why? Because the power of people, the power of their voice. And at the end of the day, these moments, what I call God moments, I see angels kind of just lifting these people up and doing their thing. And that's kind of the power and the thing that drives me into being able to say, wow, I don't deserve this platform, but I said yes to this platform to say yes to those voices that are in the room and that maybe are not here this morning. And last thing I would say is that there's something to the fact of when you just show up and you don't need to do anything. I've sat in tables in these underserved communities where families, they invite me in, and when you're invited into these communities and you're sitting and you're eating the food, you better eat it. Because it's a true honor to sit and have a place of leaders and folks in these underserved communities to say, this is our community, this is what we want to do. And it's just a truly remarkable experience. And so I think there's plenty of moments like that that's happening in this county. And I'm excited because I do see multiple folks in these rooms, in this room especially, that somehow or some way that we connected in a real way. And I believe that you have impacted me more than you know. And so I'm just going to leave that there. Thank you.
Thanks, Jose. All right, last question, guys. Community building comes with its own set of challenges. What personal hurdles have you faced in the work, and how do you navigate them?
That's a loaded question. Just for us, like one of the things, again, is just us as veterans getting involved within our community and seeing the need. I think for far too long we've depended on, the bureaucrats, the VA, politicians, and one of my goals is like preparing our veterans. A lot of us are getting involved in civic duty and realizing we can become the leaders we can. So I think that's one of the hardest things to do is get veterans to see, hey, you may not wear the uniform no more, but you can continue to serve. And veterans have a lot to offer. So it's been a very challenge to get them, to see that. We rely on everyone else. So, but now us taking that action. And I think the other hard thing is, again, just getting people to understand veteran culture. Again, we're distinct. Veterans only make up 6% of the adult population, but yet make up 14% of all adult suicides. There's a disconnect. We had 35,500 plus homeless veterans in January of 2023. In Iraq and Afghanistan, a 20-year war, we lost 7,057 troops overseas, but post 9/11, we've lost almost 31,000 to suicide. 24,000 more died to suicide here stateside versus a 20-year war. So we know there's a disconnect. So the biggest challenge is getting communities and veterans to integrate, because the reality is we're coming back into your society. We're coming back into your communities. That's one of the reasons why I got into law school, because I'll be running one day, not because I want to, but because I know I understand the need of our veterans and empowering veterans to get their education, to get their degrees, to get involved. There's no reason why veterans shouldn't be the next mayor or the next supervisor or the next congressman or the next government. We know our country. We served our country. And with that being said, the hardest thing is just getting veterans to get out of that shell, reintegrate back into society, and really begin to realize that they've already been empowered. They have sets of skills and disciplines that you learn in the military, that they can do such great things, and then the disconnect with the community. So that's why I think it's important in building these bridges and being able to realize, like, hey, if we can connect you to society, you begin to build that relationship, you begin to see the need within your own communities for veterans and their families and their children, and then great things come from there. So I hope I was able to answer the question.
Absolutely. Thank you. So Jennifer, community building comes with its own set of challenges. What personal hurdles have you faced in this work, and how do you navigate them?
Again, loaded question. My leadership is in the room.
Plug your ears, leadership. We're about to get real.
Ruben, could you just step outside?
Yeah. Remember, she's got 3
Connect
tables
with you later,
too.
Lenore, Tabitha, I'd have to say probably the biggest challenge, though, is people's perspective around behavioral health. Everyone has their own biases that they bring based on their own experiences and where they come from. Especially with addiction, so many people are just viewed as, oh, that's a choice, they're making that choice. And nobody grows up wanting to be addicted to a substance. It's same with mental health. It's like we just have to shine a light on behavioral health and normalize the conversations that it's just as important as your physical health. Your chemical health and your emotional health and your spiritual health, all of those lead to how we can get to the next level and be successful. Stigma is just huge. So many people think it's a moral failing, and it's not. It's truly not. It is, you look at the science behind it, and it's a chronic disease that's very complex, and there are lots of opportunities for treatment and recovery in our county. I think Stanislaus County does an amazing job with making those services available for our community. So much more needs to be done, though, because we have so many people that are suffering from this and so many families that continue to lose their loved ones because of it. Some because of substance use disorder where they are addicted to something, and some that are just recreationally trying what they think is a Xanax, and it has fentanyl in it, and it takes their lives. We have to do more. We have to be educating each other and protecting each other, and sometimes just having those hard conversations with people and trying to shift that perspective probably is one of the biggest challenges. We were at a community event a few weeks ago, and I had someone that was worked in the prison system that I could not convince that people are worth saving. That It could be their first chance, their second chance, their 100th chance. It doesn't matter. You're giving that person an opportunity to live for another day and potentially access the services that are available to everybody. And if we don't come with leading with our heart, with compassion and with empathy, we're going to continue to lose so much of our community, and that's devastating. There are so many beautiful people that look just like my family, and I guarantee look like every family that is in this room, because drugs don't discriminate. It impacts every family, whether it's something where they've been using for years and are stuck in that rut, or it's someone that is just trying something for the first time. That education and that awareness, I think, is probably the biggest part in just getting past those initial biases.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, give it up. So, Jose, community building comes with its own set of challenges. What personal hurdles have you faced in this work, and how do you navigate them?
That's the last question, right?
Last question. Doesn't mean you get to take a half hour, though.
All right, good. I'm getting ready to close. Can you lock those doors?
He's gonna ask. He's gonna pass the collection plate around.
You understand?
I need you to dig deep,
what
y'all. I
I'm
need you to dig deep.
Just kidding.
I'm shutting you down, dog. I'm shutting you down.
Last question. So one thing I do want to do before today is over, I want those folks who maybe you got a text from me, or maybe we've connected over coffee. If you can please stand for me. And that's going to be kind of awkward. Just please stand. Okay.
I didn't get a text.
Get up, Randy. You too. Yes. All you folks are why I do this work. Each one of you have impacted my life, whether part of faith, whether a youth sector, whether the community development sector, whether it's serving in a different capacity. Each one of you belong here. This has nothing to do with me. And I'm lucky enough to be able to connect with each one of you and see the work that you do in these communities and the challenges you face. There are so many diverse challenges in underserved communities that if we can all come together, put our politics aside, pull our pride aside, and be able to see the work that we're going to do for the common good of the community, I believe systems will change. I believe communities will change. I believe humans will change for the betterment of our communities. So the challenges are, I'm staying away from that, as you can see, they're very diverse. However, if we can get to this place of being a bridge for one another, to love one another, just as Scripture says, then will we be able to see a huge impact in these communities that we all care about. And I do believe that there is power when we're able to do that in a real way, when we're able to say, hey, I don't want nothing from you. That's hard to say. I guarantee you that. I don't want nothing from you. I don't want this to be transactional. I want us to be in a real conversation to say, how do we work together for the common good? Why? Because I still have family in poverty. I still have friends in poverty. I still see communities that are not looking like a north side of our Modesto. I see a lot of that still within our county. But I also see the togetherness that we're all coming together to make this happen. Whether it's Improve Your Tomorrow, working with young men of color to build them up. Because you know, young men are a huge downfall as far as college and other things that are going through. Why? Because I was part of the statistics. I see folks like that. I see folks like Joe Duran still doing what he's called to do on a real mission, mentoring folks and putting people in places where voices need to be heard. I see community development, credit unions making change for the common good of folks that are happening. But we also still see the challenges. And the challenges are not anything that I don't believe they're not fixable. I believe the challenges is how do we get rid of our pride? How do we put away Jose? And how do we put that family first?
Thank you, Jose. Yeah, give it up. Those are all my questions. Can we give it up to our panel, you guys? All right. Hey, that was awesome. One more time. Can we give it up to our panel, please? Very well deserved. Very well deserved plaques. Very well deserved gift cards. I'm still waiting for mine, Mike. All right. So we're going into table talk time. So we're going to ask these two questions of you to talk at your tables. We've got about 5 minutes to go through. So if you've already shared at your table, let somebody else share. But these are our two questions. What's one insight or perspective you gained today that you hadn't considered before? And then number two, how did today's discussion challenge and inspire you to think or act differently? So talk amongst yourselves. Give each other a chance to speak. You got about 5 minutes. You would have had 10, but Jose talked forever. There you go, Jose. I roasted you.
Well, the first thing is Jennifer, George, Jose, you're amazing people, and we're so proud of you and excited for you. We did send out, really did, 2,000, and a bunch of you responded. What was exciting for me, of course, Jose, George, and Jennifer, was that over 30 of you had names. You had your names in the running for this position. It was so exciting, and these awards, and so it was just incredible because our community is made up of incredible people who are giving and serving. Yesterday morning, I was at Mocha Magic in the little hallway there on 16th Street, and just catching up on some reading, and a friend came in. We were going to meet together for coffee, and I said to her, look what I just read. Instead of being jealous of others, to celebrate them. And I thought of them. I want to celebrate these three, but more than that, celebrate you. And then I want to encourage all of you, before the day's out, send a text to somebody, or whether you see them face to face, just look at them in the eye or text them and just say, I celebrate you, and here's why. Don't flatter them and just give them but give them a real specific. It's been amazing how that's over just the last couple of days. I've just sent a text, hey, was thinking of you. If you get a text from me, that's what it looks like. Hey, thinking of you, or what's up, or hey, dude, or whatever. But man, I celebrate you, and I'm so thankful for you. So I want to encourage you to do that. Our community is made up of incredible servants, and we want to celebrate them. I was thinking of some things about these three, as well as so many of you, and I just changed it in the back, and they all start with S's. Community builders, first of all, they seek obscurity. They're not looking for recognition. They seek obscurity. They're also silent servants. They'll do the work, and they'll do the right thing, and they don't have to tell anybody about it. Now, I know if you're into marketing, you got to tell everybody what you're doing. And I've been accused numerous times as a nonprofit leader, if nobody knows what you're doing, they just assume you're not doing anything. So I get the tension. But community bridge builders seek obscurity. But then I think Jose mentioned something. I want to say this: bridge builders get stepped on. Bridge builders get walked over, and they get stepped on. And you've probably been there too. I had a conversation with somebody the other day, and I was celebrating this person, and we were talking, and this person says, yeah, I remember when so-and-so started this work and this movement, and isn't he terrific? And I said, yeah, he's terrific. And then I had thought in my mind, I'm the one who started it, not him. It was in my mind, and I just celebrated, but it was so easy for me to realize, no, that has nothing to do with anything. It just means, nope, I'm so thankful that person got the credit for the work. But bridge builders do get stepped on. I wasn't going to say this, but I'm going to. Right now we live in a generation or a season of national leadership where to get stepped on means you're weak, and bullies overpower you. And I want you to know, this is my heart. You do whatever you want to do. I'm not going to buy into getting conned into thinking to be different. Another S is sacrificial servant. Those who are community builders are sacrificial servants. You continue to sacrifice. You continue to serve. It's the right thing to do, and it's the best thing to do. And in the long run, it's going to make an incredible impact in the lives of our families and the lives of individuals. It's so easy to get tempted by, for me anyway, can't answer for you, quick results. run over people, trash people. I've told you before, I had a conversation with somebody who I care for. I said, listen, let's stop doing this. I asked him this. I said, stop criticizing me all you want about my methods, and I'll just say it, I'm not Mexican enough because I don't do it this way, or I don't do it that way, or I don't say this. Let's stop criticizing each other. Candidly, I never did it, but he did. Character assassination. Let's critique each other about how we do things, but let's stay away from calling each other names. And I operate in a community, a lot of different communities, where it's very easy for the competition and the desire for money or position or all those insecurities that so many, we're all susceptible to, cause us to step on others so that you feel bigger and you stand taller, when all you're doing is just stepping on somebody else. So bridge builders seek obscurity, and they're silent servants. This is not a C, this is not an S, but you mentioned it real quick, connectors and conveners. You all continue to do that. You keep connecting. You keep convening. You keep bringing together. Get better at facilitating. Being a better listener. Learn how to ask better questions. You stay at it. You stay at it. And then the last one, just the example I just mentioned at the restaurant, was about short accounts. Bridge builders, we keep short accounts. If somebody's hurt your feelings, or somebody hurt you, or you didn't understand, and boy, am I guilty of that, because I say things and there's no context to them. Either give people grace. No, always give them grace. But go up to them and say, hey, you said this. This is what I heard. And just to keep short accounts with each other. Because I can tell you, in this little community, and most of you probably know this already, there's so much divisiveness because we all have hurt feelings, and you stole my staff, and you stole my money, or you stole this, or you took my budget, or you looked at me weird. Right? We were in a meeting and you didn't smile at me, so now I'm angry at you. Keep short accounts. Please do that. My worst story, I was working someplace and this person comes up to me. For the life of me, I don't know who she was. She says, Marvin, I've hated you for 20 years. And I forgive you. And then she walked away. I was kind of stunned. Not kind of, I was stunned. And then I went looking for her. I couldn't find her because I didn't know who she was. But 20 years, I don't know. So I know you're laughing, but if you know me, it was like I probably hated myself for about 6 months. And I didn't know why I was such a bad person. Well, I love you all. And I'm so proud of you. I am proud of the three, Jennifer. All you've helped us with Hispanic Youth Leadership Clubs and moving us away from leadership development to resiliency and prevention. And been amazing there. Of course, George and Jose. So thank you so much. And you stay at it. Doggone it. Let's stay at it. Good soldiers, they stay at their post. That means they're faithful. They stay at it. They stay at it. And we'll stay at it. I'm going to give you a couple things and I'm going to let you go. First of all, next month, we've asked Alma Martinez and Joe Kite to come in and talk with us about a new opportunity that's coming into Modesto, a new online newspaper called Modesto Focus. And so they'll be here, just share with you what it is, what's going on there, and just begin to add another newspaper in our community. And they'll tell you their focus and what they want to do, because we need newspapers. And then the last thing here, I'm going to ask our friend Sandy Gunnarsson, Mrs. Gunnarsson, come on up. So Sandy does a lot of event coordinating for us, and all of you, many of you are in nonprofits, so I know that you're fundraising as well. But heck, since it's our platform, we're going to let Sandy talk with you about City Ministry Network.
Thanks, Marvin. So I'm often referred to as Sandy, the Catalyst Coffee Lady. But today, new title, it is the chairperson for our first, hopefully annual, City Ministry Network golf tournament. Got any golfers? So June 30th at Spring Creek Golf and Country Club in Ripon, we will be having our first ever tournament. If you're interested in participating, there's several different ways. The first way is through sponsorships. So sponsorships, we have sponsorships that include 2 foursomes. We have a sponsorship that includes 1 foursome, whole sponsors, drink cart sponsors. I'm looking for a lunch sponsor, all kinds of things. It's going to be a fun tournament. The second way that you can support is actually bringing a foursome yourself to golf. You may say, Sandy, I don't golf. I gotcha. You can actually come and volunteer. So golf tournaments are a lot of fun. We'd love to have you participate in any way, either the day of the event or if you are interested in helping us on our golf committee, we would love to have you. This is a fundraiser, but to be honest, it's more of a fundraiser, okay? So we want to have fun. I'm tired of all this. I want to have fun. Okay, so if you want to have fun, join us. June 30th, we're going to have fun, okay? Thank you.
Bridge builder. See how wise she was? She watched her tongue there. She almost went. Yeah, I want to ride one of the carts. That's what I want to do, zip around. All right, let me thank God for you. There's some more pastry in the back. Would you grab some? And stand around and talk. Get to know each other. Lord, thanks for this time together. Thank you for Jennifer and Jose and George and all the others who are community bridge builders. Boy, I better be remiss to mention my wife who read the book, How to Really Know a Person, to discuss what illuminators are in a community, or Malcolm Gladwell's tipping point on mavens. There's so many in our community. May we stand up and be counted as that. In spite of all the negative noise, I want to keep my eye on the ball of being a community builder and building other people up and celebrating them. In Christ's name, amen. Good morning.